What do you get when a monster terrorizes a kingdom, and one warrior decides to fight it with his bare hands? That story is Beowulf, one of the oldest and most influential works in early English literature. In this video, you will learn three big things about Beowulf. First, what kind of poem it is. Next, what happens in the story. And finally, why people still study it today. Beowulf is an epic poem from the Old English period. That means it is a long poem about heroic action. We do not know the poet's name, but the story follows Scandinavian characters and was passed down through an early English storytelling tradition. One important point is that Old English is not the English we speak today. Even though it is called English, most modern readers cannot simply look at the original text and understand it. That is why Beowulf is usually read in translation. The way the poem is written matters too. Beowulf uses something called alliterative verse. Instead of depending mainly on rhyme, Old English poetry often links stressed words by repeating the same opening sound. A common mistake is thinking every word has to start the same way. Not necessarily. The pattern just needs enough repeated sounds to hold the line together. Another common misunderstanding comes from the language itself. Old English is not easy for us to read. So, now that we know what kind of poem Beowulf is, let's get into the story itself. Want to turn those milestones into mastery? Tap the link to access the practice test, flashcards, and study guide. Then jump right back into the video. Lock in what you learned and keep going. Before we get into the story, here are the three characters you need to know. Hrothgar, the king whose hall is under attack. Grendel, the monster causing the chaos. And Beowulf, the warrior who comes to face him. The story begins with the Danes and their king, Hrothgar. He builds a great hall called Heorot, a place for feasting, music, and community. But that joy is shattered by a monster named Grendel. Grendel attacks the hall again and again, killing warriors and spreading fear. He is not just dangerous, he represents chaos and threatens the peace of the kingdom. Beowulf, a warrior from a group called the Geats in what is now Sweden, hears about the attacks and sails to help. He is not just looking for glory. Hrothgar once helped his family, so Beowulf is also repaying a debt. Before the battle, there is tension at the feast. One warrior questions Beowulf's reputation, but Beowulf responds with confidence. This shows that in their culture, words and reputation matter just as much as strength. Then comes the first major fight. Beowulf chooses to battle Grendel with his bare hands instead of using a weapon. This makes the fight more personal and proves his strength and courage. A common mistake is thinking Beowulf is just an action story. The battles are important, but the poem also explores bigger ideas. What makes a good leader? How long does fame last? And what happens when even the strongest people grow old? That is why people still study Beowulf today. It gives us a powerful story, but also a glimpse into how people in the past thought about courage, honor, and legacy. To sum up our discussion, Beowulf is more than a story about fighting monsters. It is an Old English epic poem about a hero, the world he lives in, and the deeper questions about life, leadership, and mortality. Ready to quiz yourself with the content covered in this video? Check out the link in the description where you'll find Quizlet content made just for you.